All right, but first we're gonna go ahead and have the candidates for vice chair come up here. Are there any?
Yep, Mike Elder.
And then we'll have Mike go ahead and give a 1 minute speech,
Okay.
and then we're gonna have the ECs come up and do the same.
They've added Russ Leach did not tell us he was running.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming out. I'm Mike Elder. I'm running for vice chair. We have a great opportunity to grow our party. We have 420,000 people in Charleston County. Average age is 38. Average medium income is 70,000. If we get 1% of the 420,000 to join us, we're at 4,200 people paying $35 in membership fees. That's $150,000 we can bring in reoccurring revenue every year. On top of donations, top of events we can have $300,000 in the bank. And that's real money for real conservatives that we can vote for and get behind. So vote for me. I want to help with that growth. Mike Elder, Vice Chair. Thank you.
All right. Now we're going to go ahead and have the people running for EC come up, and we'll give them 1 minute. Yeah. So 1 minute.
My name is Russ Leach, and I'm running for vice chair. I've served the party for quite a few years. I've done 2 terms as treasurer, and I've done 2 terms as vice chair already. And I've put together things like a lot of the events that you've seen, the Black History. I've worked with Maurice on that. A couple of years ago, we did a first congressional district honorees of all the previous congressmen. When it comes times for elections, I go and I recruit attorneys to be on our team to address any issues that may come up during the election process. So I've been well woven into what's going on, and I can continue that. And I know money is an issue, and that was good that Mike brought it up. And that'd be great if we could recruit more people. It takes all of us to work on that. So join us, and I'd like you to vote for me for another period as your vice chair. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Russ. Okay, now ECs.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dennis Brown, for those of you who don't know me. And I'm here to announce today that I'm running for the executive committeeman position for the CCRP. Charleston County Republican Party are the 4 words you need to know and understand. It tells you everything about where my priorities lie. When elected, I will get to work representing you all at the state level. And when I say all, it's capital A, capital L, capital L. And when I come back, I will give you a full and earnest report, and I will highlight the issues that matter most to Charleston. Beyond that, it makes me a board member on the CCRP board, and I'm going to work hard to increase our membership, and our finances need to be brought in order. The biggest thing you need to know about me is that I intend on representing everybody.
All right, that's the minute, buddy. Thank you so much. Who else? There's only one person. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're going to get this show on the road then. We're going to go ahead, and the candidates can sit up here. All right. And I guess we'll just start. Yeah. So you got 3 minutes to introduce yourselves. We'll start here and work our way to the right, to y'all's left.
All right. My name is Andrew Boucher. I'm running for Charleston County Chairman. For the last 27 years, I've made a living actually electing Republicans around the country. You know, I started out when I was 22 driving a candidate. I served as executive director of a state party. I was a national political director for Rick Santorum's campaign in 2012 for president. Some of our clients today are people like Rand Paul and Kat Kamak. And all of that has led me to the opportunity to be able to spend time here in Charleston as a volunteer. Because we're not doing work here in Charleston as a company,
we get the opportunity to do, build a conservative movement as volunteers. It's one of the reasons why Gene D'Agostino and I were able to start the Charleston meeting, where we're trying to bring more people into the movement and get them involved. The Low Country Unity Rally last year, where in probably 48 hours after the election closed, we were able to get Nancy Mace and Katie Arrington on stage together with a hug and an endorsement and a picture in the paper saying that we're not going to lose this seat. So that's my background, and when you think about the past 27 years, everything I've done has been to try to get Republicans elected. I've written campaign plans. I've knocked on doors. I've put up signs. I've done debate prep. I've run campaign schools. My job is to help win. And so how do we do that here? Why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing it because I'm nervous about what's on the other side of the aisle right now. The left has more money. They have more activists. They're better organized. They work better together. And, my wife and I are raising our 4 kids right here in Charleston. We live on James Island. I want to make sure that this county is a red county moving forward. Because right now, the left is deep in the schools. They're deep in the colleges. They're in the neighborhoods. And if we don't step up and fight and build this party and win more elections, we're going to start losing this county. And we're going to lose the policies that make us Republicans. So if we've got to get out there and build this party. And I'll say this, I get passionate when I start talking about our beliefs and our issues, the conservative ideals that hold us together, that we believe in liberty, personal responsibility, limited government, low taxes, the right to life, the Second Amendment. We believe it means something. And yet, I firmly believe that as we take this message to voters, we can never waver on our core beliefs. Because if we're so intent on bending over backwards to reach new people, that we bend over backwards on our core beliefs, we'll end up with nothing.
And that's 3 minutes. Thank you. Let's do the next one.
This is a fantastic group. Look at all the people out here tonight. Thank you guys for giving up your Monday and coming out here this evening to listen to people talk about politics. I feel like that's not what anybody really wants to do. But it's important. When you look at this city, how dynamic and amazing and growing it is. We've been saying Charleston is like a modern day Rome. Ross and I keep saying that. And we've got 72 new people moving here every day. Moving here from New York, from New Jersey, from Pennsylvania, from all these blue states. But they're moving to Charleston because they like what we believe in. That we're not trying to put masks on you and keep you locked in our house. As Republicans, we have a huge opportunity, and the Charleston County Republican Party needs to capitalize on that in the coming years. South Carolina is a hugely important state in Republican Party politics, especially on a national level. We're the first in the South primary. That means that we will actually get to see and talk to real candidates, the people that are going to run this country on a national level. At the same time, we need to be able to take that momentum down to the local level. So y'all are all local people, you're foot soldiers, and I'm asking for your vote so I can be your leader. That is a scary job, truthfully. I know that I'll get punched in the eye a couple times doing this, and there's kind of a great quote by Mike Tyson that says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. But I've done the job before. I was chairman in Dorchester County about 10 years ago and have been involved in Republican Party politics my entire life. I organized in at 18 and have done everything from local grassroots politics all the way to helping with national races. This is not what I do for a living. It's what I actually love to do. In the real world, I build roads and bridges. I build infrastructure. I build the community. When you look around Charleston, I could list off a long list of projects that I've helped build and am proud of. It's good to win. It's good to build things. As Republicans and Americans, that's what we're made of, right? And so when you sit here tonight and listen to all us talk and answer questions, think about who's going to help us win. Win. My high school football coach said that stood for what's important now. If we're not winning, then we should all go home. because we're out here to win races, to elect Republicans, to change the narrative, to put people in office. That's our goal. That's why y'all gave up your Monday night, and that's what I want to help you guys do. I know how to win races. I have a great track record of winning races and a great track record of winning in the business world. Let me take that, put it to use for you. My name's Jordan Bringleson. If I haven't met you, I would love to have your vote. Come out, organize in March 25th.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maurice Washington. I first want to thank Mara Brockbank and her team, 5 at 5, Carolina Republican Coalition, for hosting us. And I want to congratulate all of the other 3 candidates interested in becoming your next chairman of the Charleston County Republican Party. I've been chair now for 3 years, and I want to quickly tell you a little bit about me because it's so important that you know and you have an idea in terms of where people ultimately want to lead you and take you. A lot of that is predicated on where those individuals have already been, right? I served this community 8 years on Charleston City Council with Joe Riley. I served the Covenant as chair of the Covenant Ways and Means Committee for the city of Charleston, Community Development, and Human Resource area. I served 8 years, 12 years total, 8 years as chairman of a college board of trustees. I've served on a charter school board, Charleston Development Academy at Gadsden Green Public Housing, where I grew up. School, they're doing dynamic things there. Bank of America board, Spoleto board, Coastal Conservation League board, Urban League, Chamber of Commerce. When our economy collapsed, literally almost collapsed on base closure, military base closure, it was I on the flight to DC along with Mayor Riley meeting with Strom Thurmond and Fritz Hollins and the others to repackage the current economy that we enjoy in this community, a tourism economy. I'm deeply engaged in schools, school choice especially. I started the first Republican club on an HBCU campus at South Carolina State back in 1983. I served as district coordinator for the first Republican governor since Reconstruction, Carroll Campbell. We had a slogan, what good is a label when it's the person you ought to know? I served 2 terms on former Governor Mark Sanford's transition team, putting together his cabinet and creating boards and commission space for citizens all across the state of South Carolina. So my vision, as I'm so deeply engaged, raised over $2.4 million or $2.1 million in need-based scholarship for kids from challenged communities and neighborhood, because that's what I do. When I took over in 2020, when a former chair quit midterm, it was in the midst of a collapsed economy because of shutdown, right? The summarize of 2020. We had to space in different ways, so we introduced Zoom to keep it going, right? We built this party. This is my track record. Forms are on the table. I urge you to pick it up. 20, 21, and 22. And I want you to know that, yes, success can lead what? To success. But success can also lead to favor.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Looking forward to your questions, ladies and gentlemen.
You're trying to cut me out, weren't you? Yes, what a fabulous group tonight. Thank you, Mara. This is great. And the 5 at 5. Thank you for inviting all of the candidates. How many of you are happy with what's going on in America today? How about what's going on in our state? Anything questionable there? How about in the county? I became involved 2 years ago because I was tired of screaming at the TV and what just happened in our rigged election with President Donald J. Trump. Thank you. You see what's happening in Maricopa County now? You see what's happening all over. The passion in me kept just going as I saw so many things that I couldn't believe were happening within our Republican Party. I've laid some of these pamphlets on the table over there, and if you haven't remembered, Andrew mentioned about 3 of them. I'll go on to a few more. Secure borders, the right to life, religious liberty and freedom, which is why our forefathers came here in the first place. We need to get back to these founding principles that are so strong for the Republican Party. There's something different about me than all of these other gentlemen, and it's not just that I'm a female. I have never been in politics. I don't really ever want to go into politics. I was asked to take this position because I stand up for the truth and I want transparency. So I got to the point after people kept asking me, and I was like, no, I don't have time, I don't want to do this, I'm a single mom. But I love our country, I love our state, and I love our county. I kept hearing people talk about getting involved, they want to grow the party, and every time I go to one of these things and I go around and I meet the people, I am shocked at how many people don't even know what reorg is, nor do they even know what precinct that they live in. And I'm thinking, what in the world is going on? If you've been in politics before, you should have been shouting this to the rooftops. There should be advertisements all over, because if you're wanting to grow the party, that's how you grow the party. You start at the precinct level. You get people involved at the grassroots level. We've got to do this, people, or we are going to lose our country and lose our state. So, you're right, we are. We've lost a lot, and I'm hoping to get some of that back. But I was several times canceled on different things. I won't go into the story tonight because I only have 3 minutes. But I was able to be the president of my precinct. And I thought, you know what? I saw too many people not wanting to get involved and go to the CCRP, which is our local county meetings. And so, okay, I'll have to tell you the rest of the story later. But Cynthia Jones running for chair position.
All right, guys, so just a reminder, during the questions, we're going to keep the clapping down, and let's try and be respectful as people are answering. So we're going to start asking these questions. There are 4 candidates, but like 6 people asking questions. We're going to start right here, and we're going to just move down. And what's your what's your question for? Who's your first question for?
It's for Jordan.
All right, so the first question will be for Jordan. You'll have 1 minute to answer.
Okay, so this may not make very much sense, and it assumes a lot of facts into evidence, but otherwise, you have.
Can you just read the question?
I'm doing it. Hang on. You have told many people, Jordan, that Maurice asked you to run because he didn't want Andrew Boucher to win. That's what this question says. How does Maurice's announcement that he's running change the dynamics?
Maurice never told me he wasn't going to run, and I never told him definitively that I was going to run. We simply had a lunch meeting, and I talked about potentially running, and at the time I was very unsure about it because I had a lot of other commitments. I was helping with people's campaigns. I had just gotten a lot of questions, people asking me to do it. And honestly, Maurice and I have had a good working relationship, and I kind of came to him as, hey, what do you think about this? Give me some feedback. And, Maurice was very complimentary, but also said, don't do something unless you're going to be all in. And so when I decided I was all in and I could give it the attention that it needed and the commitment it needed, I jumped in the race.
Thanks. So then the next question is yours. And who's that for?
Maurice.
Maurice.
Why did the CCRP promote a fundraiser for Kevin Hollingshead, a known Democrat, but didn't promote fundraisers for other candidates who are known Republicans?
Okay, so the question again is, why did the CCRP promote a fundraiser for Kevin Hollingshead, a school board candidate, correct? And did not. Okay, so if you take a look at this handout, you'll see that we have greater than almost 24 candidates, Republican candidates, that we promoted, not just for the school board, but for the state house, county council, probate court, the whole gambit. We went through a vetting process with school board candidates, and we promoted all of the candidates that we endorsed. And I encourage you, just pick this up, take a look. We spent an enormous amount of money promoting and marketing and spacing with those individuals. We have always supported Republican candidates, and we've done so with resiliency, dedication, commitment, and focus. And those who have won continues to do a very, very good job. Thank you for the question, ma'am.
You didn't answer.
What did I did not answer? Why? I thought the question was, why did we support Kevin Hollingshed and no other Republican candidate? I thought I said we supported.
The fundraiser.
Oh, the
So
fund.
why did you promote a fundraiser for a known Democrat but didn't promote fundraisers for other candidates who are known Republicans?
Okay, now the question has changed. Why
No, the question is the same.
A known Democrat. I didn't hear.
Kevin Hollingshed, a known Democrat fundraiser.
So let me answer the question.
Promote any fundraisers for other Republican candidates.
Let me happily respond to the question. School board elections. No, I want to answer the question if I didn't.
It's just a minute.
Okay,
You can have 30 seconds.
Okay,
You can
that's
have
fair.
30
That's
seconds.
fair. School board elections are nonpartisan, first of all. That's number one. Number two, we have never promoted a fundraiser for Kevin Hollingshed, and I would ask that the record reflect when, date, time that we did so. What we did do, all candidates who asked to share their information within our website or MailChimp, we did so for all of our candidates. And he, being a vetted, endorsed Republican candidate for the school board, we promoted his as well.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
all other Republican candidates.
Next. Your first question is for who?
So this question is for Andrew. Will you commit to not working professionally on any campaigns in the Tri-County or state if you are elected CCRP chair?
Yes, and I wouldn't be doing this if the answer wasn't yes, because I think it would be a conflict of interest to work professionally on a campaign while you're trying to be the chair of the party. Look, the chairman of the party has to run open, fair primary elections and make sure that every candidate gets a fair hearing in front of the electorate. So the answer is, I wouldn't be standing here doing this if I didn't have that opportunity because of the fact that our business is outside of the state. And it's a true luxury to be able to spend as much time as I've done in the past couple of years as a volunteer to help try to build this movement, bring more people into the party, and get more people elected as Republicans here in Charleston County as a volunteer.
All right. Well, the first one for Cynthia is right here.
Cynthia, what experience do you have that would equip you for the position of chair of the CCRP?
So I was starting to tell the story where I was getting canceled. I ended up starting as president my own precinct meeting. And then when several other people heard about it, it grew to 2 or 3 different precincts. And then it went up to 10. And now there's just several people coming from Mount Pleasant. And we keep it to 45 minutes to an hour, like if there's some extra special speakers that come in, if we have more than one. But what I like to do is have the candidates come and speak, and then I let our people be able to ask them questions. And people have loved that, and they get in and out. And one of the complaints of the CCRP meetings are they can run, I mean, the last one I went to, it starts at 7 o'clock and it wasn't done till 10:30. So, I mean, people that are working all day, they have kids, they have dinner, they need to go home. So they need to be business meetings, they need to be run like that, they need to be timely, and that's it.
Thank you. So just so you know, these are going to be mixed up. So Andrew might get 2 questions. Everyone has an equal number of questions, but they're not going to be asked in any order. So,
Andrew, you run a campaign consulting firm. Is it a conflict of interest for you to run for CCRP chair? It's kind of the same, but.
Yeah, it's kind of the same question. I get it a lot. And frankly, it's a legitimate question. And the answer is it's not a conflict of interest because we're not doing work in South Carolina or Charleston. And I'm happy to, I love this movement. Everywhere I've lived, I've been a part of both the Republican Party and its apparatus, the young Republicans. I was never a college Republican, that's a different story. But, just getting involved and moving the conservative message forward has always been something I've done in my spare time. It's been something that's been a hobby for me. And this is an opportunity where I can take a full step away from doing the professional work and dedicate the entirety of my work here in Charleston as a volunteer helping the party and the movement that I love. So.
Okay, so may I just remind everybody that the reason we're asking questions here through our independent and neutral people is because we're asking our questions in a neutral way and we're not infusing any of our opinion into that question. So let's just keep it neutral here. And the question is another one for Andrew. You were asked to give a class on how to run for political office by Maurice. Were you paid by the CCRP?
I was not. I ventured the idea. I brought it to the Charleston County Republican Party. I said, I've got some expertise. I've done campaign schools all over the country. I'd like to do one for the Charleston County Republican Party. The party paid for the room. They did some promotion. We got some folks in the room, and all of my time and resources were donated to the party. And that happens a lot. I mean, I've had candidates this last cycle come up to me and said, we'd like to hire you to run the campaign. And I said, well, no, you don't need me. Don't spend money on me. But I'll sit down with you and give you, unload everything I know, everything I think about politics, everything I think about how the campaign should be run. I'll give you some resources that I've got from campaign schools in the past. Here's a book. Here's, right on down the line. It's an honor. It's fun. I love working with candidates, and it's a whole lot better when you're not out there pitching candidates one after another. So.
Okay, Jordan. Your question is, can you explain your criminal background?
This is like everybody's favorite question, but don't worry, this is my favorite answer. So I'm not a criminal, nor do I have a criminal background. I was chairman in Dorchester County, and the Republican Party in Dorchester County had never really done very much before. I came in as chairman, and to be honest, we did something that upset the fray. We raised over $100,000 in 16 months, and truthfully, I mean, it upset the apple cart. The establishment came after me, and they threw everything in the kitchen sink at me and indicted me at a secret grand jury. The whole thing was complete garbage. It immediately got thrown out because it had no merit. But I tell you that story to say that I'm battle tested. I've been there, I've taken a bullet, I've got a scar, and I'm willing to fight for you guys. I know what it is. South Carolina politics is a blood sport. Don't get that wrong. This isn't an easy, fun job.
Thank you. Well said. Don't worry, that's people's favorite question for me too. All right.
These are not my questions. Andrew. Maurice, some say you plan to back out of the race and throw your support behind Jordan in order to keep Andrew from winning. Is there any truth to that? Will you commit to not doing it? These are ridiculous questions.
There's absolutely positively no truth to it. the one hesitancy I had about running for re-election, and everybody knows this, my wife suffered a stroke some 4.5 years ago, had some complications. It's God, it's family, it's friend, country, then party. And we needed to have some tests done to make sure she was going to be okay. Once that was determined, I was all in. Yes, I have met with both Andrew and Jordan, and I encourage them both, follow your passion, follow your dream if you're interested in becoming the next chairman of this party, because it belongs to you and not me. All of our successes over the past 3 years has been a team effort, and I'm so proud of that track record that we bring to the table. Each year we got better and better and better until time ran out.
And that's time. So you will commit to not doing that then?
Like I said, it's a false question, and it never even came.
Okay, thank you.
I did. This one's for Cynthia. Some people have said you believe the earth is flat. Is this true?
No.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Does anybody have an, no.
Okay, easy question. Done. Next. Why not?
I should have read these first.
But I'll tell you, I did believe that it was an experimental vax. And I had a health freedom conference to get people to not take it because my friend died from the hospital protocol. And I sat out there and I said, our government is lying to us. This is crazy. And we all know now what has happened. And I am just appalled at what had happened before. So call me a conspiracy theorist about that, but guess what? It came true.
For sure. Hold on to that. I just want to remind everybody, like, okay, these questions are written by people here, okay? Like, these are questions that people wrote and wanted to ask. There's no reason to be disrespectful. People have questions and they deserve answers. Can we agree on that at least? Okay, cool.
Okay, this question is for Cynthia. Describe your relationship with my SCGOP. If elected, would your loyalty lie with the CCRP or the my SCGOP?
I don't have a relationship with the my SCGOP, but definitely my allegiance would be with the CCRP. The my SCGOP, I believe, is out of Greenville, correct? So there's, well, statewide, I guess you're right, that's true. So I think they put out a lot of great literature for like reorg and other things like that. So it's a great educational thing, but definitely all my alliance lies right here in the Charleston County Republican Party. And I hope to make it better, grow more, and get people to want to come to the meetings because we're actually doing something, like holding our legislation accountable because we are the people. They need to listen to us, okay? We vote them in because of, I'd like to say, because of their character and integrity. But there's people in office right now that I'm totally questioning what's going on. And they've been in my opinion, too long. When you, that's it, okay.
Good job, girl.
Andrew, this is for you. Who would you want to be the vice chair for CCRP? I didn't write it.
Look, I'm not endorsing anyone. I'm not running as a slate. Here's what I'm looking for, though, in a vice chair and anyone who wants to be a part of the leadership of the Charleston County Republican Party moving forward. I'm looking for people who have vision, who want to get the work done, who can put in the long hours, who can grind it out, who can be an ear when people are coming and saying, my voice isn't heard. I want to have people around me in the leadership of the Charleston County Republican Party who understand that their job is to be a fair broker to the different voices in our coalition and who are willing to get the work done. That's it.
This is for Andrew. Please describe how your leadership of the party has helped keep local officials in office.
It's gotta be.
A, B?
Yeah, that's wrong, but it's for Maurice.
I'm sorry, everybody, this is for Maurice.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Please describe how your leadership at the party has helped keep local officials in office.
Okay, so in 2020, we actually won in Charleston County as if we were a red county. In 2022, we moved the needle even further, winning more so as if this were a red county as opposed to a blue county. How did we do it? We did it by engaging people in their spaces, in their communities, through a variety of engagement opportunities. The school backpack program, the community feeding program, the Christmas children toy giveaway program, the Black History Month banquet program, the Hispanic community engaged, the Asian American community engaged. And our numbers are up across the board. We use social media as a tool to our advantage. We have gone from 4,700 followers when I took over in 2020 to over 25,000 followers today. Over 25,000 followers. Okay, thank you.
My question's for Jordan. How will you grow the CCRP outside of a few from College of Charleston, the Citadel, and the young people downtown?
I mean, if you look at the right half of the room, about 80% of the people over there came because I personally invited them tonight. They don't come to these meetings. They probably have never been to some of these meetings. Growing the party is important, not just to young people, but to people in every age category. We have to have a broad, diverse group if we're going to be successful. Young people don't win elections, and old people don't win elections. The combination of all of us together win elections. We're building out a grassroots organization to be able to elect candidates to office. That's it. I mean, they're trying to cut me off maybe. Yo, that's what we do. We build a grassroots network to elect candidates to office. That's the purpose of the party, period. It takes knowing people. I know people from business. I know people from politics. You guys all know people and know your neighbors. And yeah, I've gone and worked with the College of Charleston Republicans and all the other young Republican groups, but.
Thank you. Andrew, can you discuss your relationship with Project Veritas?
You know, in 2010, I was honored to be a co-founder of the original Charleston meeting. Some of you might remember it. And we had this guy come down and speak at the Charleston meeting. His name was James O'Keefe. And he had done the whole Acorn investigation at the time. And James and I went out, and we were having drinks after the meeting. And I said, James, they're coming after you. You need to make sure. He financed all his early stuff on his own credit cards, maxing them out. And so over the years, James and I developed a friendship and a relationship. I think it was in 2014, I think, I worked with Project Veritas as a consultant, helped build up their organization, helped with some of the fun investigations you probably remember. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of James. He's a friend to this day, and I think he does important work, and I'm proud to have been part of that.
He's a rock star.
Amen.
This one is for Maurice again. Why did you appoint non-EC approved chairs to the school board selection committee?
The question again is, why did I appoint non-ECs to these?
Non-EC approved chairs to the school board selection committee.
Okay, all right, good question. So actually, I only appointed one person to the school board selection committee. The other individuals came as references to me, and those individuals were selected based on their educational bios. Former
school principals and college professors and business and professional folks who accomplish many great things in their lives. And they did a yeoman's job. I actually had no vote on the committee selection process. My job was to ensure that space were paid for and the process was done fair. So we got a lot of new people in the party. We try to create opportunities for those new individuals, and that's the way you grow a party, allowing new people an opportunity to get involved.
Thank you.
This question is for Jordan. How will you fundraise? What are your fundraising goals?
So I think fundraising is a multi-level thing. You can't just go at it one way. My goal is to have a quarterly fundraising event for the party and have an annual signature event. That's the basic framework. I think when you have an event and you invite people out and you give something for them to attach to, that's much more successful than just simply asking for money. However, you have to be able to ask for money. You have to be able to ask people to write checks through your network and through the good things that you're doing. But as you build visibility, that ask becomes a lot easier and people are more likely to give and want to be part of something. When you look at Charleston and you look at the depth of the pockets that we have here and the great spaces that we have to have events, the fundraising part should be easy, truly. That should never be something that we run against.
This is for Maurice. The CCRP raised $78,000. Why did Duke Buckner only get $200?
There were lots of folks buzzing. Would you repeat the question, please?
The CCRP raised $78,000. Why did Duke Buckner only get $200? They also have listed here what every other county gave. Colleton County gave $2,000. Jasper County gave $1,700. GLRC gave $1,000, etc. Why is this?
Okay, because Charleston is the biggest county of the counties referenced, and the way we try to reach the voters, we reach them through our social media process, our Facebook, our webpage, our Twitter, our Instagram. The money that we spent on candidates, it's in that document that you see on the table over there. We actually spent thousands of dollars. And if the candidates had to pay for our marketing for them on their behalf in spaces and zip codes in the district that they ran in, they wouldn't have been able to afford it. So in actuality, we spent thousands of dollars on every single candidate that we endorsed. Now, we did meet and greet, and every dime raised were equally divided among the candidates that showed up. So it's a misunderstanding that we spent two, when in fact we spent tens of thousands of dollars on all of our candidates.
Last time, thank you.
This is for Jordan. Do you think that it is ethical for you to be planning and organizing our county reorg while running for office?
100%. I think that's ethical. I think we're all as candidates trying to turn people out and grow the party. I think it's kind of weird that we're actually campaigning prior to reorg because nobody in this room can even vote for us yet. We're literally standing here asking you to vote for us, yet I don't even know what people are going to show up on March 25th. And so if I talk to Andrew or Maurice or Cynthia, I would hope that they're doing everything that they can to fill up all 1,132 delegate slots. And once those delegate slots are full, that's actually when we would start campaigning, because those are the people that can vote for you. I love that everybody came out, but really, y'all can't vote for me. All I can do is say I'm going to work to earn your vote over the coming weeks, because you can't cast a vote yet.
Cynthia? Oh, you're fine. Do you still endorse, support, or believe in Linwood?
No, I do not. I will tell you, I started mentioning some of the shenanigans. Do I still support Lynn Wood? So no, is what I was saying. When he ran for the state position that Drew McKissick has right now, I have had some things happen to me personally and to some of my friends that were at the local level, and I felt like what I was seeing, it was a top-down control. And so I was looking at any candidate that was running against him because some of the things that I had heard and how things were being processed from the state level. So at that time, he was running as chairman, and I thought a lot of the good things that he stood for, I backed him on, but I have, since the campaign, haven't seen him, haven't, talked to him, so, and in fact, there's I know now 4 or 5 people that are running against Drew currently, so there'll be some options coming up for his position as well. Okay.
All right, Jordan, in your opinion, what are 3 things that are wrong with the current leadership, and what would you do better?
First, I'll say I would give the current leadership a little bit of credit. When they took over the party, the county party was absolute ashes. There was nothing in the party at all. It was barely functioning. So they've really done a good job of building out some framework. Some things that I think I can do better is run the meeting more effectively. I'd like to split the meeting into 2 meetings where we have a business meeting and a separate social meeting so it doesn't drag on for 3 hours. I think we need to have better outreach that's broader. And absolutely, we got to raise some more money. And that should be a simple task to do. That you can look on jordanforchair.com. That's my platform. It's very simple.
This one's for Andrew. Do you have a plan for increasing fundraising, and what is it?
I do. Over the years, I've raised over $1 million for candidates and causes. And look, Charleston County Republican Party should be the shining jewel of the Republican Party of South Carolina. We have more resources here that are untapped, financial and otherwise, that we are not reaching right now. So in terms of fundraising, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the phone and make phone calls to the people who might have walked away from the party in the last few years. And I'm going to say, we need you back at the table. We need you to be writing checks. We need you to contribute. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing, Jordan had the same idea, like we're going to go out and we're going to do events. We're going to do living room events everywhere around the county. We're going to bring in guest speakers like we do at the Charleston meeting. And we're going to say, come into a room, speak to our donors, and hopefully we'll be able to raise even more money and develop new donors through this process. We're going to have a finance committee that makes sure that we are reaching every different group in this party that needs to hear from us with a plea to make a contribution.
This question is for Maurice. You say 18,000 people follow CCRP on Facebook. Why do we only get 75 or so to a meeting when multiple other groups get 2 to 3 times that every month?
Okay, good question. So 18,000 folks follow the state Democratic Party, the entire state Democratic Party. Over 25,000 people follow the Charleston County Republican Party. We're not just a local party, we are an international party. We get followers from outside of the United States, all across the United States, all across South Carolina, as well as Charleston County. We average almost 90 to 100 people per meetings. We have a lot of new people, and we have to get to know them. And meetings tend to run a little longer when folks are so new and they want their voices heard and they're trying to create some space for themselves. And I don't know about you, but I was taught growing up, before you try to force people to understand where you're coming from, you put yourself in their shoes and try to understand them. So all of 2021, when the new folks came in, I spent time listening.
Yes, so quick.
Maurice.
Yes.
Okay, this has a name of somebody in it. Should I just leave the name in? Thank you. Okay. A gentleman had to be escorted out of, wait, let's see. Should a gentleman have been escorted out of the room and released of his duties for yelling profanity at another EC during a monthly CCRP meeting? If your answer is yes, why wasn't he?
Well, did everyone hear the question? Did everyone hear the question? Okay, so number one, I didn't hear any of our EC members shouting profanity at any of our members. That's number one. Number two, when I learned of it, I reached out to the gentleman after the fact and said, hey, look, I need an apology from you, and I need it in writing. I got the apology from him, and I got it in writing, and I read it at the next EC meeting, which was the appropriate thing to do. He pledged never to do it again. I would admit some of our meetings can become testy. Like I said, it's hard to navigate sometimes when folks come with a hidden agenda. And the agenda is specifically to be disruptive. And so we space and we push back and we continue to move forward nonetheless.
That's time. Thank you.
Maurice, okay.
Hey, Maurice.
Yeah.
How do you propose to stop the current discord, bitterness, and squabbling?
You know, in 2021, right after the summer riots and the big steal, we had so many new people coming in. And I spent an enormous amount of time taking folks to breakfast, lunch, dinner, to hear them out, to learn them. And then in 2022, I asked for them to try to get to know me and my leadership style. And my leadership style pushes back against political bullies who try to run the entire party based on their mindset. That's not the kind of party that we are. We are not groupthink, right? And so I took a strong position that we will follow the path of right every single time, and we've done so. Now, I spent literally $9,000 of my personal money last year trying to do exactly that. Spacing with people over lunch, over breakfast, and over dinner.
That's time. Thank you. I know, 1 minute goes quick.
Andrew. Following a bitter primary, you brokered a historic peace treaty between Nancy Mace and Katie Arrington. How will you use your skills to negotiate peace and unity within the factions of the CCRP?
You gotta speak louder, we can't hear the questions back here.
Okay. You want me to say it again?
Yes.
Okay.
I like that.
Following a bitter primary, you brokered a historic peace treaty between Mace and Arrington. How will you use your skills to negotiate peace and unity within the factions of the CCRP?
Look, the first thing that's going to happen if I'm elected chair is I'm going to reach out to the other three people here who are up there here with me and ask for their help. I'm going to be talking to all of you and asking for your help. You know, I believe in a unified party because a unified party is the only way to win. And last year, you could see the division coming from that primary. I had stayed out of that primary, and so I felt I was kind of in a position to, with my contacts with both camps, to be able to reach out to both of them. It was not easy. It was a lot of diplomacy. There was a lot of back and forth shuttling between the two camps in those 36 hours before that event. But sometimes you just got to go for it. Sometimes you got to put out a marker and say, we're doing a rally, you're going to be here, you're going to endorse the person who won, and they're going to endorse you, because the most important thing is what happens in November, and making sure that we as a party move from our primaries to winning in November.
Thank you.
one is for Cynthia. As chair, how will you respond to people who utilize the same, air quotes, in your face tactics that you and Nancy Ross have used, i.e. cameras in your face, yelling during meetings?
If you're full of truth and transparency, it shouldn't matter. I actually think that they should have videos at every of the meetings. I don't understand why they don't. This is for all of the people. I want the people that aren't coming from my precinct to know what is being discussed. I want the American people to know what is being discussed. So I have no idea why in the world we would not want to have cameras there, because to me that means you're trying to hide something. And also, right now, we have police that are coming to our meetings that they're paying $450 every meeting, right off the pop. I will stop that, and that'll go right into our budget right there, and we can be able to give those to our candidates. So I'm all about truth and transparency.
This question is for Cynthia. It's a two-part question. How long were you involved in Ohio local politics? The follow-up to that is, with little experience, why are you going for the highest position?
So I've been a Republican all my life, and like I stated earlier, I got involved 2 years ago because I started seeing our country falling apart. And I was asked to get involved. This was not a career move of mine. I'm not going for Congress or senator. I am doing this because I got asked from numerous people. In fact, I told Nikki today, she had said something to me about a year ago, "Are you running for chairperson?" I'm like, "What? No. Who told you that?" Because I had never even said I wanted to do that. But I had so many people coming to me because they knew I was standing up for truth and I was supporting them, and the shenanigans that were going on, I was calling them out. So look at Trump when he took over. Look at Carrie Lake. Look at so many of the different people. They didn't want those positions. They were asked to take those positions, and I was asked. So thank you for those that asked me.
This is for Jordan. Jordan, what makes you better than the other candidates?
I don't know, better is the right word. I can say different. I do this because I love it. I don't think that anybody does this because they don't love it. I have some great experience. I've done this for my entire life. And I think I bring that to the table. At the same time, I think I've got a good track record of being willing to work with everybody. There's a broad spectrum of people that are in the Charleston County Republican Party and a broad spectrum of Republicans that we have in this county. And when you think about who you're going to vote for as chairman, you should be thinking about who's the person that's going to win, not your vote, but who's going to win elections in November. You should be thinking about the person that you'd be willing to sit down and have a drink with. And you should also be thinking about who's the person that gets on my nerves absolutely the most, and will that person also be able to sit down with the chairman and have a conversation with them and be able to accomplish something?
Thank you. All right, so before we go on to the next individual questions, Jordan, go ahead and pass the phone to Cynthia. I'm going to ask questions, and these are going to be for all of you. You have 30 seconds each to answer the questions, okay? So, yeah, we're going to start with Cynthia on the first one, go all the way down, then to Maurice, all the way down. We're going to do it, okay? All right. Sometimes candidates disappear if they lose. What will you do if you don't win to help the new county chair succeed?
I'm all about grassroots. I'm all about the precinct level and growing that. Like I said earlier, I have no idea why it was so hush-hush. It's not even on our page right now, and March is when reorg is happening. So I will definitely be shouting that from the rooftops.
I've been involved with the Charleston County Republican Party to 1984. Nothing has changed. I will continue to engage. This is my community. I'm woven in this community. I touch people in places that are very near and dear to my heart. And so I will continue to work to try to build the party.
Y'all, people tried to bury me before. They just didn't know I was a seed. I just grew right back up. I'm 6 feet above ground, not 6 feet below it. I'm going to keep working for the party regardless. I love the low country. My family's been here since the early 1700s. I'm tied to this community. I care about what happens here. And I think politics is a great way to change your community for the better.
I think I'll continue doing what I've been doing, which is continue to build the Charleston meeting to make sure we're an entry point for new folks into the conservative movement, work with other groups to make sure that once people come into the conservative movement, we're able to pass them along to other groups and other campaigns. I'm always going to sit down with any candidate that'll listen and give them any advice that they think is worthwhile. Knock on doors in my own precinct, which we do, and just continue. Nobody's doing this for the glamorous job of Charleston County Republican chairman. We're doing this because we believe in the cause.
Okay, now hand it to Maurice. Maurice will start the next round.
Okay.
30 seconds each. That's right. Would you ensure that each EC and precinct is given a list of people in their area who expresses an interest in CCRP, from meeting attendance to the CCRP website and from the SCGOP website?
Yes, indeed. My first precinct reorg, I spaced with a lot of people, first-time folks, like Mike Elder, like Cynthia Jones here, and like other folks. Sat with them individually, personally, to help walk them through the process of getting involved. So, that's a part of my nature. You can't grow this party by pushing people out or preventing people from coming in. That's my nature. I'm a bridge builder, and I'm proud of the record that we have as a team. It's not I, but it's a team. To Cynthia or Jordan?
So I build bridges in the real world, and I'll build bridges in the Republican Party. I'm all about growing this place, and I've spent my own money to buy voter lists because I got locked out of the GOP database, and not to get votes, but literally because we need to fill out our delegate slots. We need people to show up. This should be a huge organization. 1,132 delegate slots. Think about the magnitude of that. This is the largest volunteer organization in the county.
Yeah, building on that, the largest reorg we've had in the last decade has been about 450 people to fill 1,132 delegate slots. I've actually, in my campaign for chairman, if you want to volunteer and you want to help get people out in your precinct, I'll give you the list, right? Because that's how we build this party. You need to know which of your neighbors are interested and want to get involved. This should be a growing, vibrant party, and it starts at the precinct level.
All right. And Cynthia?
Well, it's interesting they're wanting to share all the lists, because let me tell you, those lists do not get shared. They are coveted and they don't get handed out. I, for one, being new, had to go out and find out and get the list. I know there's candidates that ran for even attorney general and things, and we're not given the list. It's crazy. So I don't know what they're talking about, that it's freely given out, because it's not. But I would love to do that, because again, starting one precinct at a time, that's how we're going to take back America. That's how we're going to save this.
All right. Now to Andrew, I think, right? That's right. All right. Do you think... Oh, it's Jordan's turn. I'm sorry. That's my fault. Do you think that the Charleston County Republican Party should endorse non-Republican candidates even if it's a nonpartisan race?
No.
No. Here, let me repeat the question before we continue. The question was, do you think that the Charleston County Republican Party should endorse non-Republicans even in nonpartisan races?
The answer is no. I spoke out against it in the meeting that in which this came up, and I was very disappointed that the executive committee men who are there to represent their precincts on the Charleston County Republican Party never had a chance to vote on those endorsements. It's very frustrating.
Okay. Cynthia.
Heck no. We have too many phenomenal, courageous, just intelligent conservatives, and I don't know why we are not reaching out to them. And in my opinion, the school board, I can't believe we didn't flip it. There's people going around saying we flipped it. We did not flip it. There's maybe 4 or, well, some of them, I don't know whether they're true conservatives or not, but in my opinion, it should have been flipped, and we should have been working hard to do that.
Okay, that's it.
We got them elected back here, the quiet people.
Maurice?
Well, my answer to that question is, when you're talking education, education is everybody's business. It doesn't matter if it's a partisan, nonpartisan. Everybody should be engaged in the education of our children. My answer to that question is actually yes. That's what the majority of our members asked for. That's what they got. In fact, I have a memo from October 12th from Maura Brockbank asking me to meet with her at her home to meet 3 Democrats running for the school board in a nonpartisan election. Because why? It's nonpartisan.
That's 30 seconds.
All right.
Do you have a
Thank
response
you.
to that?
Mara gets a rebuttal.
I have never endorsed a Democrat. I don't care who they are. I have never, ever. The seat might be nonpartisan, but I sure as hell am not nonpartisan. I am a Republican. That would be a hell no.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Now, here's another one for all of you, and this one will start with Andrew. Are you in favor of, and look, I didn't write these questions again, are you in favor of State GOP Chair Drew McKissick's recent push on behalf of Bill 4606, which will take delegates from large counties like Charleston and transfer them to small counties, which would not be representative of actual voters? Or are you familiar with 4606?
No, I'm not, and my priority, I don't know if I'm going to be a delegate to the state convention, but my priority as chairman of the Charleston County Republican Party is going to be the Charleston County Republican Party and helping Charleston County Republicans win.
Well, this is a bill near and dear to my heart. That is Bill 4066. Basically, it's capping who we have in the larger counties. And right now it went from 62 to 70. And right now, if that bill goes through, we'll only have 43. That's a 33% reduction. You keep mentioning 1,000 candidates or 1,000 delegates. That's going to be cut way down, and I think that's wrong. So I'm totally against that bill and capping it.
Okay.
Well, I actually join with Cynthia in opposing that particular bill for all of the reasons she just stated. And, I pride myself in being very transparent and never being a liar. So if anyone wants to see the email exchange between myself and Mara on the Democrats candidate running for the school board, I have it right here. So that's not fabrication, that's real.
I'm not familiar with this bill. I'll just be completely honest with you guys. No, I heard what it was about. I'm just saying I haven't read it. I'm not familiar with it. I can give you my personal opinion that your delegates are your representatives of your voting precinct, and it doesn't make any sense to limit those, and it sure enough doesn't make any sense to redistribute those to other counties. That skews the spectrum. That's not how we work, and that's disingenuous to the system.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks. All right, we'll go ahead and ask the single questions, I guess.
In what capacity did you work on Trump's 2016 campaign?
There's actually a funny backstory that I probably shouldn't get into. We came on board during the general election. We ended up, my business partner was a senior advisor to the Trump campaign, and my firm did a lot of live operator phone calls. We ran that program into the targeted states We also worked on the state director manual for the general election campaign. I had a role in writing that as well. So.
Okay, so this question is for Maurice. At the last debate, you said you don't support Democrats. However, you endorsed Darlene Dunmeyer, a far-left Democrat, and Kevin Hollingshed, you promoted a fundraiser. Why? And how do you square your words and actions?
Very simple. We had a survey. We were put in the, according to Post and Corey, it was a racist survey. Had my photo on the front page. I stood by it because it was really a parental rights survey. Kevin Hollingshed went through the process, he was endorsed. Darlene Dunmeyer went through the process, she was endorsed. By the way, we don't ask in nonpartisan elections if you're a Republican or a Democrat. We use the survey to smoke out the difference, right? Darlene Dunmeyer supported and voted for Duke Buckner openly against Jim Clyburn. Darlene Dunmeyer supported openly Joe Boykin, that helped us flip county council. For the first time, we now have a Republican chairman serving over Charleston County Council. Darlene Dunmeyer has never indicated this far left stuff, all smoke screen, my friends.
That's a minute. Thank you.
Maurice,
Okay.
this is for you. I think this one's already been asked, but I'm gonna ask it again. You asked Andrew to teach a class on candidate development, outreach, and fundraising. Was he paid?
Well, first of all, I never did ask him to do that. I heard that question earlier. Russ Leach, our vice chair, communicated with Andrew. Look, I go way back with Andrew, and Russ brought the idea to my attention. I didn't oppose it. And no, he was not paid. He didn't ask to be paid. And quite frankly, I'm not surprised that he did it pro bono. That's a part of his nature, and I'm okay with that.
This is for Cynthia. A friend of yours was escorted out of a CCRP meeting by the police. You left with her. How would you have handled that situation differently?
We talked about, she was doing a podcast. I didn't leave with her. Actually, at that meeting, they asked everyone that was not an EC to leave. So I left when all of the other people left because it was getting so contentious at this meeting that they made everybody leave except for ECs. And so that's not true. What was just said there? So. Of the meeting, or? Oh, well, as I said earlier, I think it's fine. I mean, if Corey wanted to come and if he wanted to video, if Doug White wanted to come and video, if Kelly wanted to come and video, anybody that wants to come and video, it should be open. That's my opinion. Open, transparent, truth. That's what we're about.
My question is for Maurice. You often split your reports into black voters versus white voters rather than Democrat voters versus Republican voters. Is that how you see things in Charleston? And if so, why? Please be specific.
Well, I base my politics on the terrain, and that's the people in the middle, the swing voters. Most of the people in the middle aren't Democrats or Republicans. We try to tailor and target them to favor our candidates, and it's working, and it worked. It worked in 2022, it worked in 2020. That's how we took over Charleston County Council, winning in a blue district, to flip it, to bring it to our advantage. Look, if you wonderful folks were to see some of the videos that I have from disruptors at our meetings, some of the threats against our members, you would do the same thing that I've done as chairman of this party. Push back. I gave everybody the olive glove, the hand of friendship, all of 2021.
I wasn't going to tolerate it in 2022. We had elections to win, we won them, and I did what I had to do with the great support of a wonderful team of wonderful officers, and we stand by that decision to this day. We've got to have law and order in our meetings, and when folks infringe on that,
thank you.
We do something about it, and we offer no regrets.
There's another one for Maurice. In your Friday CCRP elephant post, you took credit for over 55 events when they haven't been allowed. Oh, 55 events when they haven't been allowed to post them on our site. Please explain.
That was in 2020, may have been 2021. It's in this particular document. When 5 at 5 actually was a part of the Charleston County Republican Party, we promoted it. And through our communications chair in the back, we promoted 5 at 5. Notice I didn't reference it in 2022 because they were no longer a part of CCRP. In 2020, they were, and we helped promote it, we contributed to it, and so we took some credit for it. That's fair game.
This question is for Andrew. You don't attend many CCRP meetings. If elected chair, will you be able to attend?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I didn't start out this cycle as an executive committee person. I'd given up my executive committee seat. Somebody else wanted to serve for my precinct. I said, great. And then last summer, I showed up at a meeting just to see what was going on, and somebody approached me and said, your precinct is, the executive committee person has been sick. She's not been able to attend. Would you step up and serve as executive committeeman for the remainder of this cycle? I said yes. So it's a matter right now of making sure that the schedule is clear and making sure you get to the meetings. I've tried to attend anyone that I could get to, even though this wasn't something I had planned to be a part of as this cycle started. Right now I'm just filling a slot and making sure my precinct is represented as best as possible.
Andrew, this is for you. What experience do you have that would equip you to be an effective CCRP chair?
I'm tempted to talk about campaign experience and winning tough fights. I've flipped a blue city, won a city council race, and I flipped a city council in a blue city. But I think more importantly than that is the work we're doing to bring new people into the party through the Charleston meeting. And I believe strongly in engagement. I believe strongly in entry points. And whenever you have an opportunity to talk about what it means to be a conservative and what it means to be a Republican, you got to take advantage of that. You've got to welcome people in. You've got to build this party and win elections.
Couple more left.
This is for Cynthia. Do you think there needs to be a police officer at the CCRP meetings? If so, why?
I did just answer that before, no, and like I said, that would immediately put $450 back into the kitty. That would be helping our candidates, helping us with other fundraisers, and helping grow the party. And again, reorg should have been put on the front of the Facebook page. It should have been going 6 months ago to talk to people. I will say this, it's not just here, it's in other counties as well. And a lot of people don't want to announce it. They don't really want to grow the party because they want to keep their control, they want to keep their seats as EC, and they don't want new people in. So I'm confused at people talking about wanting to grow the party, but yet that's not been what's happening. I'm out there literally knocking on doors, and out of over 65, just on Saturday and Sunday, one person had heard of reorg. And they've been Republicans all their life, and they had no idea. So.
I have another one for you, Cynthia. Do you have an issue with the Omar Shrine Temple? And if so, what are your issues?
the Omar Shrine Temple. No, but I believe that there are some activities that I've understood under secret meetings that have been happening, and I don't agree with secret meetings. Again, my whole thing is on truth and transparency. So what I like is to have openness and be able to share, because if you're hiding something, usually that means there's something not good going on.
Okay, and this is going to be another 30-second question. We'll start with you, Cynthia.
Sure.
What are the responsibilities of the chair of the CCRP?
Well, growing the party, which I feel like needs to happen, and fundraising, we talked about that with, for our candidates, bringing unity, bringing people in, letting people's voices be heard, and as a servant leader, this is what I'm looking forward to for We the People, because there's a lot of voices out there that are not getting heard.
So obviously, raising money, winning elections, and equally as important is being able to get into doors and places where Republican candidates normally aren't welcome to. And that's what we do best. We started the process of unmasking our kids because of relationship. We started the process of ending CRT in the Charleston County School District. And the proof is there via email, via podcast, via Kelly Golden Show. That's what leaders do, and that's what leaders of the Charleston County Republican Party does.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Same question.
I thought we were still cheering. It's simple. Your job as chairman is to elect Republicans to office. That's it. How you do that? Sure, you need a bigger party. You need more people in the electorate. You got to raise money. You got to do all the things. I was talking earlier saying the job as chairman is basically volunteering to run 15 or 20 campaigns for free for the next 2 years. That's really what you're doing. And if you're not doing that and we're not electing Republicans to office, then we're wasting our time because we are an election organization.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I echo what has been said. I mean, the job is to help Republicans win elections. You do that by raising money. You recruit, train, and support strong candidates. You build a grassroots army to get out the vote. And I would add one thing to what folks have already said is you've got to be a clear, unapologetic voice for what it means to be a conservative Republican. You need to be unafraid when you're talking about the values that we can unite behind and the ideals that we believe in as Republicans.
All right, I think, what do you got? One more?
I have one more.
All right. Well, it's been asked. What is it?
Controlling the crowd at them.
Oh, yeah.
Ask it again. For the same.
That's not important.
Okay, I'm switching this to Jordan.
Cynthia's already answered.
You've answered it. How would you control the meetings that seem to get out of control or handle dissent during meetings?
So I think this is, there's no easy answer to that, but really it starts with setting the precedent early on. You can't organize in people to this party that have passion and a desire and drive to do things and then not actually give them anything to do. This is a volunteer organization. People need to be put to work because they're giving up their time and they want to go to work. You guys are here this evening because you care about what's going on. We have to flesh out this volunteer organization. You have committees, and you flesh out those committees. You give an opportunity for people to sign up. We reach out to all the other auxiliary clubs and say, do you need volunteers? Do you need helpers? Here's our huge list of people, and you have to channel people that direction. I grew up on the farm. We worked hard. My dad always told me that idle hands made the devil's work, and then I had to go dig like post holes after that. When you're working and you're accomplishing things, it solves a lot of problems.
Yes. Yes.
This is my final question, and this is for Andrew. Will you still be hosting the Charleston meeting?
Yes, absolutely. And Thursday night, 6 o'clock at the Harbor Club. Please come and join us for the Charleston meeting. We've got a great lineup.
Mark Meadows.
Mark Meadows is going to be here. Look, I said at the beginning of the Charleston meeting, the mission of the Charleston meeting is to have a meeting. We want to bring new people in. We want you to bring your friends and neighbors. Come hear good speakers, and we're going to feature the other groups that move this movement forward and the candidates who move this movement forward, because we want you to come in, hear good speakers, get involved, and take action. So yeah, Thursday, Harbor Club, 6 o'clock.
This is for Cynthia. Some say you tend to alienate people that don't agree with you. Will that perception hurt your ability to lead as chair?
I will say, I like to speak the truth, and in the beginning, the reason people were asking me to run is because I wasn't afraid to say the truth. And I would always say, well, it doesn't matter because I'm not running for anything, so I'm not having to, watch what I'm saying. And you know what? I'm not going to change. I'm still going to be who I am. And I will reach out to people because I want to have that unity. And before, there was really maybe not the need to do that so much, but that's why I started the North Mount Pleasant, because I saw so many people being isolated and not coming to the meetings. And so I wanted to build the community. And like I said, I built it from, 1 precinct up to 10 precincts with people coming. And so I'm really about the community and building that, and I really want to unify. We're not always going to agree. Somebody mentioned it before, groupthink. We're not that way, but we need to have our voices heard, and especially with Robert's rules. Are we done?
Okay. This is for Jordan. You've previously held a chair position for another county GOP. What did you do to make it better? What were your accomplishments? And how did your tenure come to an end?
When I was chairman of Dorchester County, we organized in 74% of the precincts. Previously, the highest level that had ever been, in anybody's knowledge, was probably about 40% of the precincts. From that, we were able to build a great organization. Our membership, annual membership dues covered all the recurring costs for the party, so every dollar that we fundraised went to candidates. I hosted events with, currently it was Mark Sanford, who was our congressman, Lindsey Graham, not everybody's favorite, but hey, he was our senior senator. Tim Scott, Rick Perry came down for a fantastic event. Governor Haley was the keynote speaker. I mean, we did some great things. I resigned as chairman from Dorchester County because I had this horrendous house fire, and being chairman doesn't pay your bills. It detracts from your life to some degree, and I needed to reassess my focus and what I was doing, and didn't have time to sit there and, do those things because my family and life was more important.
This is for Maurice. This is my final question. You've said one of your goals was to increase Black attendance at CCRP meetings. Why hasn't that panned out?
I've had this conversation with multiple officers of CCRP. And quite frankly, if I were to ask African Americans to come into CCRP meetings currently as they are, with the infighting, the bickering, the yelling, and the pushback against a Black History Month banquet, it would hurt us in the Black community more than help us. So what do instead? I space with them, and I have videos and photos to show this time and time again. And I direct those same African Americans, lawyers, doctors, accountants to do what? Support Republican candidates. And they have gone on record in the Charleston Post and Courier, in the Charleston Chronicle. We have evidence of it. I space with them differently until we get our act together. I will continue to space with them in that way. We have folks boycotting the Black History Month banquet, for crying out loud. Mm-hmm. We got to be real with each other, okay?
Sir. Thank you. Okay, I just want to, actually, one last question. A couple of months ago, I had my hand raised for about 2.5 hours in a CCRP meeting. I'm going to go ahead and ask that question now, Maurice.
Sure.
How many people that were on the education committee have children in the Charleston County School District? Children.
multiple of the education committee members have grandchildren in the Charleston County School District.
Children.
Have grandchildren in the Charleston County School District. They may not have children, but they have grandchildren in the Charleston County School District. They did a yeoman's job. They did, you know, we have a record of every candidate that we endorse. Nobody can produce a survey specific to their opinions and feelings on major issues shaping conversations in boardroom. Why? Because everybody else ran away from it because they said, no, those questions are too hard. Those questions are racist. And we said, if you want an interview with us, you have to complete the survey and authorize us to share it with our membership. No other organization in this county has on the record the answers to our survey, and we're very proud of what we did. And thank all of you who served in that capacity.
Thank you.
Maurice,
Yes.
how many blacks and Hispanics do you actually bring into the Charleston County Republican Party, and do they come into the meetings?
That's right along the same question that was asked earlier. It is so important. Behavior is so very, very important. Let me tell you what they do. About 25 to 30% of the revenues that comes into Charleston County Republican Party comes from Asian Americans and African Americans. So they speak with their money, and we space with them, and we have evidence of that as well. As Donald Trump once said, if we're going to become truly the majority party in this country, we better start spacing in areas that we're uncomfortable spacing in. That's what I do. Bottom line, we win elections. We did it in 2020, we did it in 2022, and nobody is speaking to our success. You know why? Because they know darn well that we have been exceedingly successful in the way we've led this party over the past 3 years.
What's the answer? What's the percentage?
That's the time. Thank you, Maurice. All right, so just before we leave, we have recorded this whole thing, and it will be on the Overton Reports YouTube. It'll be up on Substack if you're signed up there, and it'll be going out in the Carolina Republican Coalition if you're on their emails. Also, if you want written notes, George Gagunas has taken amazing notes as always. You'll hear every single answer and question, and Mara has one last thing to say.
Please stay, eat, drink, to be merry, and tip liberally, not conservatively.
All right, thank you all so much for coming out here. And don't forget that reorg is March 25th. So we can maybe go on to the CCRP's Facebook page to find out more about that.